Morning. How y'all doing? It's Sunday, May 4th, about 10:30 in the morning as of recording this video. I had meant to and even tried to do a video yesterday, but I wasn't in the right headspace for it. Yesterday was somewhat difficult for me. I knew it would be, which is one of the reasons why I was having kind of second thoughts about it, but did it anyway. My dad kept talking about how it would be good for Joey, and Joey needed it. I don't think it really made a difference to Joey. It certainly took its toll on me, though. And if you notice a red spot, a cut here just beneath my eye, no, I have not been punched in the face. Part of me wanted to throw some punches yesterday, but nothing like that happened. I was out here about an hour ago doing some weed eating, trying to trim up around the house and whatnot, and my weed eater found a perfect little pebble in my front planter here that looks like it's been abandoned for years. Kind of has been abandoned for years, and flung it and caught me right on the bottom edge of where my safety glasses were. Yes, I was wearing safety glasses. I do not weed eat without eye protection. I used to, but many years ago I got hit in the eye with something, a bit of wood or something, and it hurt like hell for like 3 days. I shut my eye, but I was using a much more powerful gas-operated weed eater than my little cobalt battery-powered weed eater, which is still quite powerful. But ever since that incident, I don't weed eat without eye protection. And I still got thinking maybe I should wear a full face shield when I do my weed eating. So that's what that is. No, I have not been fighting or anything else like that. Just the randomness of life kicking my behind. Story of my life, pretty much. So went down to where Joey was camping yesterday. It's a state park down in Ormond Beach, called Tomoka State Park. Beautiful place. I've been going there for years and years and years and years, long before I ever knew Melissa. And I used to always want to take her there, and we never got around to going there. We would go down Daytona a lot. Always seemed to be a reason why we never had time to go over there. I kind of think that since it was something that I wanted to do, that it was always was always less important than other things we were going down there for. It's always a reason never to go over there. And I realize that I've known her for 14 years now. Together with her for 10 of those 14 years. Married to her for 8 of them. And yesterday, 4 years after she left me, was the first time that she and I stood on that ground together. Kind of funny how things work out. How you notice things. Didn't make a lick of difference to her, but it didn't go unnoticed from me. And there's this feature at Tomoka State Park. It's like this 30-foot monument to a historical chief, Chief Tomoki of the Tomoka tribe. And 30-foot statue. I've always loved it. I've always been fascinated by it. And it was something that I wanted to show Joey. Planned to do it last year, and we see what happened last year. But one of those things that, I was holding on to and thinking, well, I can, share this with him and whatnot. And this goes back to one of the reasons why I get angry and incensed when she does things with him. When she clamors to get all these first experiences with him that I have to miss out on. I realize we're divorced. I realize we have 50-50 custody and we have to share our time with him, or rather we have to share him. But my ex-wife seems to find a delight in denying me experiences with my son. It's like she's angry that she couldn't get full custody. And one of the things that she does to retaliate and continues to do is deny me the ability to share special things with him, especially in his formative years. Like when she took him to Disney for his 5th birthday. That was over 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago. And my finances were not fantastic. But back then, I could have afforded a ticket to Disney. Probably couldn't have eaten anything, but I could have afforded a ticket to Disney. I could have got around Disney all right. I would have been fine. I was still able to do odd jobs, do a couple brake jobs, rebuild and resell a couple carburetors. I could have found enough odd work over a week to pay for a ticket to Disney. She could have said, I'm taking him to Disney for his birthday. We're not doing anything together because we're not together, but it's his first time at Disney. I know this was something that was near and dear to your heart. If you can pay for a ticket, you can come and be there with us, be there with him, and see him, first time at Disney, Mickey Mouse and all that good shit. But no, she didn't have the decency to do that. Instead, she lied to me about what they were doing. And she took her asshole boyfriend along. Her asshole boyfriend got to be there for my son's first trip to Disney. And that hurt, you know. That hurt a lot. And it's not just been that. It's been, you know, she took him to a nice aquarium when she knew that was something that I desperately wanted to do. She, you know, she's taken him to see snow and lots of other things that she does not just because she wants to do them. She does these things because she knows that it will get under my skin, because she knows that these are things that I want to be part of for my son. I'll never have another kid, you know. I'll never get a chance to experience these things for the first time again. These are things that are just lost to me. And it's not that big a deal. On one hand, it's not that big a deal, but on another, for a more personal note to me, it is, because I have to deal every day with the very real possibility that I'm not going to live to see him grow up. You know, hell, I may not live to see him hit double digits. And one of the worst things about the divorce is she knows how finite and precious time is for me. And she took away one of the two most important things in my life, her, because she was selfish and unhappy and selfish. Instead of trying to work things out, she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm too lazy for that. I'm just going to bounce and find some simp that will follow me around, you know, like his nose is glued to my ass. Which is what Matt, the new guy, does. He follows her around like a lost puppy. She, you know, snaps her fingers and he jumps. You know, he's like the perfect little do-boy for her, and I guess that's what she wants. You know, I was good to her. I took care of her. Always stood by her. But I never let her push me around, and I guess that was more important than anything else. Who knows? But she delights in taking these things away from me. And yeah, they're small, but they mean something to me. And like, you know, showing him this monument, being there when he saw it for the first time, wanting to see, being interested to see his reaction, you know, would it have a similar impact on him that it always had to me? Well, we didn't get down there yesterday till about 11:30, and I knew. She had already taken him to see it, and it was just this passing thing that now I'll never get back. And you know, it was a very small thing, but it was something that I could do. And you know, it's just one more little thing, but one more little thing that means a lot to me. And it's gone. I still have Joey, I always will, you know, but it's those little things, the little moments that unless you're there, or unless you really think about it, may not seem so important, but when you really think about it, they're the most important. You know, I don't give a shit about Disney. I loved Disney World when I was a kid. And I would still have fun on a lot of my favorite rides, even though a lot of them have, from what I understand, have been, shut down. I could never afford to go now, but it wasn't about Disney. It was about being able to be there with my son. Just like it wasn't about, the snow. It was about being able to see my son's face the first time he saw it, the first time he touched it, you know. And hell, I don't play the lottery, but, I could have some miracle drop $10 million in my lap tomorrow, and, we could fly up north, somewhere and spend a month in a cozy cabin, me and him, doing all things winter related, snow, that I can do and whatnot. And it'll never be the same. It'll never be the first time. And that's just, it gets at me, I don't know where I'm at for time. I think it's 16 minutes. That's why I'm still wearing my hat, by the way. I was out here weed eating. Anyway, got down there at 11:30, and they were getting together with his other scout friends, most of them. One little boy wasn't there, I don't think. And there's this like peninsula, they call it the island, but it's like a peninsula, three-sided peninsula, where they were going to go fishing, and that's where we met them. And it was a nice little creek, not big, about 50 feet across, 40 feet across, not too big. Off the Tomoka River, with several connections to the intercoastal waterway. And there was a real swift current, so no fish were biting. They would have all been up closer to the banks, and the way the land looked, they would have been closer to the opposite bank from where we were at. But they were still fishing. And my folks didn't even get out of the Jeep. My dad was not feeling good yesterday. He was having some bad problems with nausea yesterday when they got here. I ended up giving him one of my nausea pills that I take, that I've been taking for 11 years, ever since the cancer started, because I have such a bad time with nausea, and it knocked his ass out. He slept all the way down, all the way back, was awake a little bit to play with Joey, but they just sat in the Jeep. My mom too, she wasn't feeling too bad yesterday, but she can't go very far at all before she has to sit down, and it wasn't conducive for that. I got out and I stood there with Joey while he was, casting his little Paw Patrol rod, and telling me about his day and going to the trading post and just having a good old time. Telling me about his expert casting skills with his fishing rod. And he lost interest in it, though, fairly quickly when nothing was biting. I think he's kind of like me when I was his age. Doesn't really have the patience to just sit there for hours holding the fishing rod. If he gets a bite quickly, he's having fun. But if, you know, something doesn't happen within like the first 20-30 minutes, he's off doing something else. And more so when he's got his little friends around him. They very quickly forgot about fishing and were chasing fiddler crabs. I was actually very proud of my son for chasing fiddler crabs, although he was not trying to touch them with his bare hands. But you know, he's kind of skittish around crawly things. He's getting better with bugs. But he's still, you know, scared of them. And they never bothered me. I can walk up and you know, start playing with a wolf spider crawling around in the grass, pick her up and, you know, let her crawl around on my hand. You know, stuff like that doesn't bother me. I've always, you know, if it's got more legs than I do, I've got an instant kinship with it. Instantly drawn to it. Joey is much more like his mom in where he is afraid of everything that does not remotely resemble him. You know, furry things are okay. Scaly things and crawly things, not so much. He doesn't have a problem with turtles and tortoises. We played with those before, but fast-moving lizards, they don't scare him, but he doesn't, you know, try to catch them. I was catching them things by the bucket loads when I was his age. Snakes, he's afraid of snakes, and I've always loved them. Anything resembling a spider, he's really scared of. So I was, you know, kind of surprised with the fiddler crabs. But again, he wasn't trying to touch them like the other boys were. But they were playing with them. Let's see my time. I think I'm 22. Try to condense this. It was really hard for me yesterday because I can legitimately say, after all the hell I've been through in my life, there's nothing more painful, nothing that creates a deeper feeling of hopelessness than watching your family carry on with another man when that's supposed to be you. That was not supposed to be Matt, you know, her boyfriend. That was supposed to be me baiting my son's fishing rod and setting it up for him. That was supposed to be me, you know, setting up the camp stuff and doing all the things Dad's supposed to do, you know. Melissa doesn't want anything to do with me anymore, and I really don't want anything to do with her anymore either. But because of the way she did me and the way she left me, the way she treated me, you know, I'm not broken off as cleanly as she is. I'm shattered in jagged chunks. And listening to her talk cutesy with this guy yesterday like she used to do with me, it hurt so bad. And it hurt so bad, her going around and acting like, you know, Matt was where he was supposed to be, and I never was. Like, I never existed, you know? It hurt to see Joey running up to Matt, asking him about his different fishing tools, which doesn't make much sense to me because the guy has no idea how to clean a fish. I got no problem with catch and release, but I mean, if I'm gonna fish, I'm gonna fish to put something in my frying pan. fill my belly. And he's got all these fancy tools out there, and it hurt. It hurt a lot, and it put me in a really bad headspace yesterday. I was really depressed. Everything that I had worked toward, my family, just given away to another man. He didn't do nothing, but however he met my ex-wife, he had no right to be there. That should have been me. And I know it's life and the way things work out, but I still don't think I deserved it. I'm pretty sure I'm really close to my time. I get Joey back this afternoon, so probably won't do another video till tomorrow. Hope you all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.